Malaysia Airlines has taken delivery of its first Airbus A330neo, part of the company's move to modernise the fleet, reduce the costs, and indeed in doing so, open up new long-haul routes across Asia. The airline's launching flights between KL to the Maldives, to Thailand, to Vietnam and to India, and indeed strengthening routes, of course, elsewhere. Australia on the horizon too. Captain Izham Ismail is the Managing Director of Malaysia Airlines. The captain is with me now. Sir, it's good to see you again. Always grateful to talk to you and to see you in London tonight. I think the core role for something like MH is where you position the airline against the Gulf carriers with, obviously, One World. But how do you position it for growth?
Hi, Richard. Thank you for having me here, and it's good to see you as well. Malaysia Airlines is positioned to serve Asia Pacific, and we take pride in being gateway to Asia. No doubt, we have stiff competition with Singapore Airlines and the Gulf carriers. Malaysia Airlines has previously marketed ourselves in a wrong segment over the last 2 decades, and we are clear today after the last 3 years that our segment is premium, and we have been under-investing ourselves for the last 2 decades, and we're investing now. As you can see, we just received our first 330neo herringbone seats, as what we spoke about a couple of years ago, Richard.
So are you looking at, when you say premium, do you mean premium business, premium leisure, or a yield mix of both?
Mix of both, Richard.
Now, if we take, for example, let's say, for example, Australia, and the competition is intense. I'll give you a good example. Turkish Airlines. The last thing you need is Turkish arriving to take some passengers onto Australia, as they're planning to do. And very cleverly, they decided to send Melbourne via Singapore, and they're sending Sydney by KL, which is a bit of a headache.
Precisely, Richard. It is a really quite a headache for us. But to a certain degree, we believe strongly that our market into Australia is still strong. The demand on our product is still robust. We've recently launched Paris, and Paris is one of the point of sale that we will fit into Australia. We are looking at increasing our capacity into Australia, to Sydney, Melbourne, Adelaide 3 times a day now.
Wow,
Richard. Yes, and the Australian market has been very fantastic. It's given us about 6% yield, better than 2019.
So if you take the airline, and bearing in mind it's somewhat difficult past that we don't need to dwell on, if we take the airline, the future of MH, it reminds me of that famous line, I think Oscar Wilde, talk of its death as being greatly exaggerated. People have been questioning about this survival of MH. Can you say that the airline is now sustainably profitable, or at least sustainable?
Richard, to be fair and to be transparent, it is still early days, and we are very confident. Over the last 2 years or 3 years post-COVID, we have got a good traction on credibility, and we're very clear of the future of Malaysia Airlines for the next 5 to 10 years. And the strategy that we put in place to be gateway of Asia Pacific, and we have managed our costs well. For the last, we've shifted our network flow differently. Over the last pre-2018, Richard, revenue contribution from international market was at about 45%. Domestic market was about 55%. Today, as we speak, over the last 2.5 years, our international flow contribute to 90% of our revenue, top-line revenue, and 10% of domestic. And Richard, we are very clear, the low-cost carriers are not our competitors. We have an aspiration to bring back Malaysia Airlines back to the premium stage. And
right, but on this point, on this point, is it sixth freedom traffic where everybody comes in and everybody goes out? Or is your priority to bring people to Malaysia and then encourage onward or sixth freedom traffic after?
Yes, Richard. Two guiding principles. First and foremost, Malaysia Airlines needs to be part of the nation building, enable economic enabler for the country. And two, Malaysia Airlines must stand on its own feet commercially. Yes, when we talk about that, it will be a network flow from Europe to Australia as an example. But then we are not doing justice to the country, Malaysia.
Yeah.
We do have products like bonus side trip and so forth that we entice customers to visit Malaysia. So together with the Sixth Freedom and providing a free passage to domestic Malaysia, I guess that's the winning formula for us.
Well, I say bring back the old jingle that Malaysia made so popular. Malaysia, truly Asia. There's an entire generation of people that remember it. I'll join.
And don't forget the satay, Richard.
Oh, my first experience of satay was on one of your planes. Good to see you, Captain. You're doing good work at the Malaysia Airlines. Thank you, and I'm grateful you've taken time to join us tonight.
Thank you, Richard, for having me tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.